To make our shapes a little bit more interesting, we'll give it a stroke, change the thickness of the stroke, and change the color of the shapes. So the way you do that is with 3 functions: stroke, fill, and stroke weight. Stroke is the color of the stroke, like the outline of the shape. Fill is the color of the inside of the shape, and stroke weight is the thickness of the stroke. This is where order is really going to come into play. So let's add, the parameters that those take for stroke and fill are going to be a number between 0 and 255. We saw that when we were looking at the background color, that 0 was black, 255 is white. The reason it's that number range is because 255 is 8 bits. We'll link to some information and fun activities about that, but it doesn't really matter right now. Just 0 is black, 255 is white. Everything between that is a range of gray. Let's start by adding a black fill to the ellipse.
Awesome. So I'm going to just comment here saying black, and we will add a fill of 0, which is black.
Yeah. Yeah, it applied to everything.
Yeah. An interesting thing to note is that because fill is the top value, it applies to everything that comes below it.
Yeah, you could think of it like just drawing with markers or colored pencils. If you pick up one marker, everything you draw from then on will be that color unless you put it down and pick up another color. So let's change the fill before we draw the rectangle so that the rectangle could be, let's say, a light gray.
I still don't know if gray is A or
100.
E. Okay.
Oh, it's different in different countries.
There we go. And the line doesn't have a fill.
Yeah, so
the line doesn't have area. So
let's give it a stroke color. We can.
Oh. So let's give it a stroke.
Oh, let's make it white.
Stroke of 255. Okay.
You also notice that it applied to everything else.
Yeah.
Why is that, Masra?
So because we've done it in the draw function, and the draw function keeps constantly looping, which means it calls it again and again. At the end of the first loop, it set the stroke to white. So it sort of applied that for every loop after that. So what we want to do is maybe for the ellipse, we want to say, we want to also set a stroke here of gray.
Yeah, let's make that 100 too. Good medium.
There we go, but we can't really see.
Let's change the stroke weight. Perfect opportunity to change the stroke weight.
To 5.
Yeah, 5. Great.
Okay, perfect. And there you go.
And obviously it applied to everything beneath it, so we would have to change it back. But if you see, I can't do that here, it's too confusing. But it's changing the fill to black. It set the stroke to gray and the stroke weight to 5. It drew an ellipse. Then it changed the fill to black and applied it to gray and applied it to the rectangle, and then the stroke to white and applied it to the line. And the reason it's not applying to the circle again when it goes back to the top is because we again changed the stroke to 100, so it's gray, and then it loops over that again and again.
Yeah. I'm just going to make this stroke color black, just because you can't see it. There we go.
Okay, and that's, so you can make some pretty interesting grayscale drawings. Students can take their drawing from the unplugged activity and, write it in, they can do it on paper and then, apply it in code.
Yeah.
They can add, strokes and fills and make it more interesting.